Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and if you cannot tell by my t-shirt, what we are going to be talking about tonight has been one of the most popular television shows, maybe of all time, definitely in the last 10-15 years, and that is going to be The Big Bang Theory. Show that I'm fond of, but... So if you've been enjoying my videos, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the little notification bell up top so you'll be the first to know when I post a new video. If you do enjoy this video, at the end, make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit the like button, leave something down in the comments, tell me something you enjoyed about it, something you didn't enjoy about it. If you're a fan of The Big Bang Theory, if you're not a fan of The Big Bang Theory, would love to hear from you. So, let me get right into it. I really did enjoy this show overall. I think that it was a lot stronger in the beginning, and I feel like the last few seasons felt very forced to me. There was still humor. There was an occasional, bust in your gut laugh, but overall, I just really think it was a lot better when it started. Now, I didn't get into the show until later on. It was a few seasons in when I finally got into it. Much like many other shows, it was on TBS, and they'd run it, 50 bajillion times a night, so it's like you can't help but watch it, sort of like Friends and How I Met Your Mother and Two Broke Girls and all these other shows. So I don't know, maybe it was like the third, fourth season when I finally got into it, and we went back and picked up the DVDs really cheap for the first season, just to try it out, see if it's something we would like. And again, we really did like it. I think it's a really well done show. I just think it went on far too long. Whereas How I Met Your Mother and Friends kind of went out on top, in my opinion. I think this one could have ended much earlier, and I don't know. I just think it dragged on a little too long. I just don't think the later seasons were as good or as funny. The finale was really good. I love the way it ended, don't get me wrong. But I just think that even though they added all these great characters along the way, in my humble and personal opinion, it was at its best when it was the four guys and Penny. Now, I loved Bernadette's character. She was funny and feisty. I loved Amy's character. And then, of course, they brought, Amy's mom and dad in, Bernadette's parents, Stuart, the comic book store character, all these girlfriends that Raj had along the way. There were great characters added in throughout the series. Not saying anything. I just think it kind of fell flat later. I don't know if that's a popular opinion. It's one I've definitely heard a lot of. Again, I just think the dynamic was so much better in the beginning. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry. I had an itch that was driving me crazy. The reason I say that, look, I was never Mr. Popularity. I was big on science fiction and superheroes, not so much the fantasy. But I was never the greatest student, okay? I was not a super genius like these guys are. And I never really had that close-knit friendship that they had with other people. I've had great friends in my life that have kind of come and gone at different periods of my life, but never that, constant group like that. It's one of the things I talk about a lot on my Facebook or in my posts when I talk about Friends or How I Met Your Mother. I love shows like this, but it's like it kind of gets me sad in a way because I haven't really had that. Anyway, long story short. So I can kind of relate to the guys and being bullied for who I was and for my interests and things like that and just looking different, whatever. I really think the show was at its best when it was the four socially awkward guys and Penny. They bring in Amy, they bring in Bernadette, and then it's like it went from four guys being socially awkward in pretty much every situation to guys and girlfriends and all that trouble. Like the whole course of the show changed with that, and I think it just weakened it. Again, Amy was a great character, one of my favorites. Bernadette, great characters. All the subsequent characters, great. And it's not that there weren't good episodes later on in the series. I just really think that it was at its best and at its funniest the first 4 or 5 seasons before it became all about the relationships. When it was just all that craziness, that awkwardness that people like me who are kind of socially awkward or the guys, the characters in the show, I think that's what appealed to me about it so much, but that's really what made it funniest. Again, in my opinion, once they all got girlfriends and it became all about the relationships, then it was like, it kind of lost some of the luster. One of the great things about the show was all the celebrity cameos. You had Stan Lee, you had William Shatner, you had Mark Hamill, you had Bob Newhart, all these like well-known, famous people on the show. Judd Hirsch was on there. A lot of the cast from Roseanne, what's her face? Sarah Gilbert was on there. Laurie Metcalf, I can't remember her name, played Sheldon's mom. Great characters. I mean, Sheldon's mom is one of the funnier ones because there's the contrast between Sheldon being the scientist atheist and his very religious mother. That's always played for comedic effect. Leonard and the struggles he has with his mom. Penny, you never know her last name or you don't get so much of her backstory. Raj, the very awkward Indian, foreign member of the group. And then you have Howard and all the struggles of growing up Jewish and that whole culture clash thing. So a lot of great things. They really didn't shy away from very much. They kind of brought it out there. All the struggles that awkward people like myself would face. They didn't really go away from it. They kind of hit it head on. So that was kind of a cool aspect. But again, I love the show. Don't get me wrong, please. Like don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I think it was a wonderful show. I think it was funny. I just didn't laugh as much the last few seasons. Shoot me. That's just my personal opinion. I still love the show. We still watch it from time to time. I've got the T-shirt. Bought Rebecca the lunchbox. I have the little Lego Big Bang Theory set in my not in my man cave. I'm in the man cave in the living room. With everybody sitting on the couch in the apartment and whatnot. It's not that I dislike the show. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I just really think, again, to stress it, it was funnier in the beginning. But I love the characters. There's not really any character that I couldn't stand. There was one character I absolutely hated. It was the super socially awkward girl that Raj goes out with, played by something Machuki or whatever her name is. I could not stand her character. I was so happy when they got rid of her. But, Raj, he had all these trouble with women. He had trouble talking to women at first because he had some kind of, I don't remember what the technical term is for, but he had some kind of, disorder where he couldn't talk to women unless he was drunk. So, eventually he gets out of that and he kind of gets a little whiny. But, he's had all these horrible relationships along the way, so you kind of sympathize with the guy. But some of the girlfriends he had were really funny. Some of the awkward relationships that Leonard had in the beginning and Howard had in the beginning. Again, before they settled down with their long-term girlfriends. Although the whole the Amy and Sheldon thing, that was kind of entertaining almost all the time. I thought it was, played out well between them. Again, I love Stuart. He was poor little Stuart. He was one of my favorite characters. Again, between the celebrity cameos and the little side characters that you don't really expect to carry a scene. Of course, Miss Wallowitz, I can't think of her, Carol Ann Susie, who passed away during the filming. You never really see her, but her voice, her presence was just so hysterical. I haven't really seen her in a lot of other stuff, but just she was one of the best characters. Bernadette's dad was one of the best characters. I mean, it was great in the sense of the characters that were on the show, the topics that they covered, because it was right up my alley. Like I said, the only thing I can honestly say is I just really didn't like later in the series when they changed the focus from being the social awkward struggles that people like I have to relationship struggles that everybody has, Anyway, I would definitely say check it out if you have any interest in science fiction, geekdom, Star Trek, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Battlestar Galactica, Lord of the Rings, which is one of the best episodes too. The Lord of the Rings episode, oh my god, that episode is freaking hysterical. The juxtaposition between characters like Penny and Sheldon and Leonard is great. I think those three were really the core of the entire series. The way it ended was great. Just the banter back and forth, the idiosyncrasies of Sheldon and all his insanity. He wasn't crazy. His mother had him tested. Just, I never knew somebody like that. I've known people in my life, like other members of the other characters played by members of the cast, so I can kind of relate on some level. But great series. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know I've said some things that you might think, oh, he's just kind of going through the motions. No, it didn't jump the shark completely. There were still good episodes here and there, but just not consistently funny, like it was in the beginning. But anyway, if you're a fan of any of that kind of stuff, check it out. It's on DVD. It's on TBS. I think it's on the HBO Max streaming app. Definitely a great show. I would highly recommend it. It is one of my all-time favorite shows. There's others I enjoy more, but definitely because of the type of life I've led, it's something I've enjoyed. So I would definitely recommend you check it out. If you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Like the video. Leave something down in the comments, something you liked about it, something you didn't like about it. If you're a fan of The Big Bang Theory, something you enjoy about the show, something you don't enjoy about the show, we'd always love to hear from you. I always enjoy other opinions different from mine, and dialogue and conversation. So, bazinga! I will see you next time.